Have you ever had that really horrible experience where you're putting so much effort and time into getting better at driving, maybe you're hitting it a bit further, but the more effort you put in, the wider it goes, the further it goes into trouble, or maybe you've been given a golf tip with your irons and you're trying really, really hard, but you just can't get it. It doesn't need to be that difficult. In this video, what I want to do is I get so many students come and see me with all these problems, right? And by the end of the session, they often say to me, Danny, that feels much more relaxing. It feels much more effortless. It feels like I can go and take that to the golf course. I want to show you the steps I take people through to, first of all, give them a motion that helps you create consistent contact. Then two, take that consistent contact and start to generate that effortless power. You've seen the power with the great players and the good players, maybe at your golf club, where you're wondering, how do they hit it so far when they don't look like they're trying? There's something that they're doing I'd love to share with you. So that's what we're going to cover in this week's video. We're going to help you basically make the golf swing feel a lot more effortless, whilst at the same time creating more consistency in the way you strike it. Before I do though, look, if you're new to the channel, it's when you're first listening to mine, please consider subscribing. At least videos just like this one every single week to try and help you improve your game. Plus you never have to remember a thing. Everything we do here, I'll put into a free downloadable practice guide in that description box below. So my goal for you by the end of this video is for you to be able to go out on a golf course and have a golf swing that you can really, really enjoy. A golf swing that feels just yours, feels relaxed, feels effortless, kind of helps you consistently make strike time and time again. And we're going to cover three things that are going to help you do this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you something that a lot of people have been told not to do, and it's actually ruining any chance of you being effortless. The second thing I'm going to show you is something that kind of really helps you guarantee strike. And the third thing is ultimately the secret to an effortless golf swing, the thing that actually creates that effortless motion, which is often hidden by most people. So step one, the first thing I want you to do is do something that you may have been told not to do. See, a lot of people, they don't use their hands and arms correctly. They don't use them sometimes at all. So what I want to do is I want to give you a drill I give most of my students. It's it's just a great feeling. And what I want you to do is hold the club. If you could pause the video and stop it right now, it'll really help. Hold the club out in front of you and just grab your bicep like this is my trail arm and just lock it into your side. And all I want you to do now is swing the golf club, and the aim here, look, notice what I'm doing. I'm allowing my elbow to hinge and everything's pivoting around my elbow and my wrist. Notice I'm not letting this arm go out at all. I'm literally just swinging the club beautifully freely here, backwards and forwards. Notice how my arm naturally goes down and up, down and up. It doesn't go, look, around. Most people are making a golf swing and their arms are doing the around bit. Your arms don't create the round bit in a golf swing. The turn creates the round. The arms create the up and the down motion to this golf swing. But it's too complicated to talk about, so learn to feel it. Grab that bicep, lock it in, just swing the club backwards and forwards, and suddenly look, I'm pivoting beautifully, look, around my elbow, and I've now got a wonderful free release of that hand and arm. That is simple as that, right? Most people are hanging on, try to control it. You don't need to. This is a free flowing motion. Watch what happens now when I just start to turn my body. Hey presto. I've now got my hand in a great place, like it's holding a weight straight at the top. My elbow's in a great place, and I've just swung to the top without any worry about positions, right? Then I just come down and let that club swing again beautifully, freely. So that's the first thing to train. Well, just as you have two arms, you've got to train the other side. So what we're going to do, yeah, exactly the same thing. Going to get you to hold the bicep now of your lead arm, lock it in. Now, most people, when they do this, they do stuff like this. They're trying to almost guide the club here. You've probably been taught sometimes, keep the handle ahead, all that kind of stuff. All that does is force this unnatural motion, right? What we're doing here, look, watch. I am just going to imagine, look, I'm almost giving blood. This bottom part of my arm here is facing up to the sky. I am giving blood. And I've now got, look, a wonderful free release of the hand. Notice how my hand is working upwards. It's not working this way. I am pivoting around my elbow, and I've now got a beautiful free release of the hand, which if I add rotation to that, we have now got a wonderful free release of that golf swing with both the right and the left arms, okay? This is stage number one. Learn to feel that. I've often said to people, swing the club freely, but sometimes they swing it and they're swinging the arms freely. They don't know how the arms are supposed to work. This will give you a wonderful feeling of how those arms are beautifully folding on the way back and on the way through. And then what I do with all of my students, I say, look, just try and hit some balls like that. So do a few exercises. You could do this for a few seconds before on the golf course, just maybe with just one arm. One, get that sensation. Add a turn, and away we go, right? So all I'm going to do is get that sensation. And all I'm doing there is just beautifully, just swinging my arms nice and easily, no real massive effort going in there. But the thing is this, a lot of people are trying to take their hands and arms out of it, and they create swings now that have absolutely no power. They're being told to rotate their body, keep everything in line. Where's the power? It disappears. You've got to learn to get those hands working, and then we coordinate the body so you don't have a handsy golf swing, right? Which brings us to step number two. Spend some time doing this. Don't rush to step two straight away. Spend some time doing this. Then, step two, and this is how I would do this to start with, right? If you are somebody who struggles with like inconsistent ball striking, this is what I would do first. Step three is once we've got the strike, then I'll show you how we then generate more effortless speed and power to this. So step two is very simple. You've got those hands and arms working beautifully, right? Rotation isn't around and around. It's a lot more almost like we're walking. Now, if we walk, rotation becomes easier. Notice how the trail hip moves back, the lead hip moves forward, and then look at the changing flex. My lead knee goes down, my trail leg goes back, right? That's how rotations creates. Look how this, you'll see it's all the top players. There, it's just this. It's not this, right? So that's the first thing. And the way to achieve this is when you get yourself set up, just get a sense here, because we want to make sure we strike the ball. And to strike the ball, we want to be nicely over this side of the golf ball almost. We're going to push our weight, more favoring our lead foot here. When we do this, keep your head in the middle of your stance. And all I'm going to do is keeping that pelvis nicely forward, make some swings, and notice here how this section here stays quite in the same position. It's rotating. It's not moving massively off the ball. We'll come to that in step three. But what this is doing is going to help you guarantee ball first contact. 1, 2. But now what we've got the hands working backwards and forwards, but we've got a beautiful pivot where the lead knee flexes, the trail leg starts to extend as we pivot around. And now look, I let the club flow through beautifully. So we now have two things working. We have much more of a consistent position where we're striking the ball than the ground with beautiful rotation, plus a free flowing release. This is the place I would always start with any of my students who are struggling with effortless power and strike, right? So let's have a look at this in action. So I get myself set and maybe just rehearse that free flowing motion. Imagine this kind of motion here, backwards and forwards. So look at this, weight stays there, and away we go. Look at that, simple as that. So now I've got strike, weight favoring forward, get that feeling of the free flowing wrists. Let's have a look at this in action. There we go, look, comfortably. So speed just gone up a little bit there, 173 miles in total with 7.9, right? So you start with that first. You've now got the hands working, so you've got some natural speed there. You've got the body working correctly in terms of a rotation. But the final bit here is this, is you'll see the guys who think they're really knocking it a long way. How are they doing it with very, very little effort? Well, they don't do what I've just done there, which is fix their weight and turn. There is a gentle, beautiful pressure shift. And the best way to learn this, right, isn't to try and think about it, right? It's a feeling that you need to learn and feel and experience yourself. So if you grab a golf club and hold it in front of you here, most people, when they're playing golf, they look a little bit like this. 1, 2, 1, 2. And there's no momentum in this golf club. So they go, I'm not hitting it far enough, Danny. So then they go, I try to swing faster, and all they do is go lunge at the golf ball even more. So they're not generating effortless, natural speed. So I teach them the rhythm, right, and the timing of this. And it's a feeling, right? So I get them to this. Just notice, what do you see? I've now got momentum in this club. what do you see? Can you see that? Now, notice how my weight is always preceding, it's always ahead of where this club is. So when the club gets to here, look, my weight's over here. Now, I don't want you to think about that. This is what this drill does, right? Watch this. Feel it, one, feel the momentum. Then, once you've got that feeling, start to pick it up. Feel. Can you see how my body is always ahead of that club? Now, can you see the timing of that? This is the final piece, right? That gives golfers that beautiful, free-flowing, effortless speed. Now, I've got to be careful. I won't go into all the details, but I had a little operation on my tummy, so I've got to be careful about how much speed I generate. But this is the secret to what I would say, that beautiful, flowing, rhythmical action. So what you'll see with a lot of players is you'll see them moving. And from here, all I'm going to do is get that sensation. Now, I don't try to think about this. I do the drill. I can now experience that club swinging, and I can feel my body's relationship to that club head swinging, right? Don't overthink this. I get myself set, and away we go. And you look at that there, look. Didn't quite strike that one as well, but my club head speed went up 5 miles an hour by just doing that. I caught that a little bit off the toe. I'm a little bit nervous about my tummy. But those 3 things, start with, let those arms, get a feeling of that free-flowing release. You won't see the best players working on this because you know what, they don't need to. They've already built that into their swing. They're on this side of the spectrum. If you're not a tall player, you're on this side. You need to get more hands and arms working effectively so you can generate that speed. Then what you do is, so it's not a hands and armsy swing, you then coordinate that with a beautiful body turn, as we've just done here, and then suddenly you've got the arms and the hands and the body working beautifully together. Then that's step 2. Then you can start adding momentum into this by having that natural shift, and you start to create this beautiful, flowing, easy, effortless looking golf swing. So start there, and if you know anybody who's struggling with this, who looks like kind of cumbersome, stiff, wooden golf swing, please share this video. It will really, really help. If you'd love to know how you can apply this to maybe a driver, this is very, very similar. Press this video right here, and of course, look at this YouTube channel. You love videos like this. Press that subscribe button down here. I'll always put a free download practice guide in the description box below. But until next week, have a wonderful golfing week.